fuck's sakes, I keep doing that. And you had such great information. The other people are not going to be able to see what you
Bummer.
just.
Yeah.
Okay. So can we start all over again? I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Yeah.
So keep going.
They can follow my TikTok at Nick Talks R6. I'm just kidding. So I think that's super. Yeah, I think I'm actually gonna. That's one of the key changes I'm gonna make is I just have some generic things like key metrics, da da da. But I think keeping it in the management dashboard wouldn't be doing it enough service because from the bottom to the top, like even, eventually the management's going to need to report to you. Like I feel like, as the owner, like I would rather have management report to me, maybe even getting a glimpse of what's going on at the very ground level. But like who has time for to go through comb through all that? So,
Right.
I think describing processes for how each person all the way up to like upper management, will report to the preceding person. So I'm actually gonna, I'll make a note of that. Reporting. So I'll end up making that its own section. Actually, I can do that right now. If I just go here, heading one, boom, and then if we go up here to the top, it'll show you that it refreshes so that it's its own. It's not bold, but anyway. So the things that I actually did on my own per se, with my own thought, and also copying a little bit from the blueprint, ambiance painting blueprint. I was just talking about like real world trust, so like truck wraps, and then so the likelihood of them happening and like what the return on investment would be. So that's a high likelihood of happening. Like it'd be pretty cheap, you know, people seeing it.
Okay. In your own words, because I can't read that. The text is way too small and you're going
Oh,
too
really? Here, let me
fast.
zoom in real quick.
So in your own words, if you create a truck wrap with wow factor, how many leads would you expect to have in an 8-hour day? We don't have statistics, so your
Yeah.
guess is as good as mine.
Okay. Yeah. And I don't know if I did that for every single one. I didn't go that specifically. But I guess how many leads per day? I'd say maybe like three good ones, maybe, if a truck's on the road for 8 hours, that's what I would
Okay.
guess. Maybe that's too much, but
No, I don't think so. Our
yeah, I think
roofing company
three.
gets between 14 and 20 per day. Now, keep in mind, there is a sound system. Okay. We
Mm.
have what we call traffic trivia with Trump's voice. We hired an actor
Oh
who
my
does a
gosh.
perfect Trump. And I hope Trump gets elected because we don't want to lose all that data. Because if Trump disappears, we're going to lose all that, right? And one of the jokes was, since I left office, the only job I could get was working for this shitty roofing company, right? In his voice, and it's really hilarious. And they
Oh,
also do traffic trivia, and the announcer. It sounds like the driver is the announcer, but it's pre-recorded because we don't want to, get arrested.
yeah.
And he says, you are correct. The gray Audi, you just want dinner for two at this restaurant, right? And people are looking around, where's the gray Audi, right? But when you create that type of engagement, right, I think you're going to get more than three.
Yeah. No, yeah. That's really good. And then a couple other ideas had were, paying local Uber drivers to put magnets on their cars or maybe some sort of branding in the vehicle. Because, like people going to like wineries, people going to, all these things, at least, from a like, business owner standpoint, like small business owner standpoint, they could be using the Uber X. So that was just another idea I had.
What you
Leads.
also should add to these is budgets.
Mm,
Budgets. What do you think that's going to cost you? How many
yeah.
Uber drivers are going to test with? Because all this comes out from your original budget. And keep in mind, most of the time we're starting with $50,000 line of credit from your $50,000
Yeah.
budget from your line of credit. So,
Yeah.
and that's
So
going to disappear pretty quick. So keep that in mind.
yeah, I realized that real quick. Um, so next, just country club, golf, tennis, just slowly building, relationships with business owners so that when they want to switch or whatever, they choose me, their bro, their buddy, their tennis buddy. So that is kind of harder to quantify, but I feel like, you know, the business from that will be like long term, really good, you know.
Yeah.
But probably a lot, probably fewer, but really
Nick,
solid.
most people don't know you are a tennis pro. So,
I'm not a tennis pro, not yet, not
okay.
yet.
But you train people, correct?
No, 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 no,
Okay.
no.
Oh, I'm thinking of somebody else. Sorry.
I wish. That'd be cool. Um, anyway, so local networking conventions, you know, whatever it can be, whatever I can get in. Banners at sporting arenas, private schools, billboards on the highway. So I guess with the budget, this would be burned up pretty quick. With it, I was just throwing everything possibly that I can think of. One that I like a lot that I kind of thought of was like a quarterly or however whatever workshop, fundraiser seminar to even bring like a couple different, you know, this is like a small business seminar where there's maybe different people from different kind of like parts of the business. So like maybe some people in accounting, some people for marketing, you know, whatever. To like just bring in more people and then live stream that as well. And just really kind of build a sense of community, you know, like really getting to know the other business owners, even if they're not going to do business, you know, at least like, you know, just bring a lot of people together. Radio station ads. So yeah,
Mhm.
it'll be really good to put the costs in here because I'll be able to figure out cost and then expectation because it'll be really easy to figure out what's going to be profit, you know, get a
Yeah.
good return on
And Chat
investment.
GPT can help you with those numbers.
Yeah. Yeah. And then, you know, refreshments for local cars and coffee, just like thinking you know, anywhere there's going to be a business owner, you know, cheaply get in front of them and talk to them, you know, because like just providing like you know, a stand of coffee and donuts or something like so cheap, you know, but they're going to be in front of a really nice amount of people who, you know, could eventually use it. Maybe some of them are retired, so maybe who knows how that will work out, but it was just an idea I had. Rotary Club, etc. And then online, just daily TikTok uploads. These are all like, to me, online just makes a lot, you know, a lot more sense because it's so much cheaper unless you're buying ads, but just, you know, to slowly build a following um, through constant uploads and, you know, hopefully quality content. Um, I just feel like be able to get a lot of more attention and dressing more professionally, you know, especially. Um, so
Yeah.
yeah, eventually get testimonials. That's free, you know, posting the seminars there. And yeah, just a few more things here. So
Okay. We're
yeah,
running out of time, Nick.
yep. So that pretty much ends everything I wanted to talk about. So
Okay. Um, all the things that Nick said about trying to find clients is a great segue into one of the case studies that we have. So remember what Nick said and how much he was struggling to find clients. Before we get into case studies, why don't we go around and do a quick introduction so we get to know each other a little bit better? And please change your name on because
yeah, how do
I've
I
got
do
a
that?
Zoom user um, and use your first name so people know who you are. So who wants to go first?
We'll go.
Okay,
My name's Jonathan. I'm a mechanical engineer by trade. I'm 30 years old. Gonna be a dad here pretty soon.
congratulations.
Yeah, and I've just kind of signed lots of stuff, but don't want to work for anyone else. Want to start a business and go that whole route. So,
Where do you live?
kind of, I live in Sacramento, California.
Okay. And do you have a big fear or what's your biggest obstacle right now?
Oh, probably just not knowing and not getting started, analysis paralysis, and I'm an analytical person, so I like to have it all figured out before you start, but that doesn't
Okay.
work as well over here.
All right. How would you help him, Nick? Because you don't have analysis paralysis.
Um, are you trying to start an engineering? Like, what business are you going into?
I'm not totally sure. Whatever Leo recommends for me. Starting an engineering business is really hard. You need like
Yeah,
million
no, I
dollars of
bet.
capital.
Have you done
Easy.
did you do the Excel thing?
Yeah.
What were your
Started posting some TikToks, for I like outdoors, hiking stuff. One of those videos did okay, so I'm gonna keep going with that and try and build an audience. But other than that, I got a list of some, random, mostly garbage ideas,
hmm,
But yeah.
what were your top ones on the Excel?
No one could steal this, but an idea for, a plant when the light's only hitting it from one side, it grows sideways. You would just get a lazy Susan that goes underneath the plant so you can quickly, easily turn it every couple weeks so it doesn't grow crooked. But that requires, kind of learning some e-commerce stuff, messaging companies from China, getting product,
Yeah.
learning the whole kind of skill set, which would be a big investment. Everything just looks like that. It's an okay-ish idea, but there's a lot of hurdles to make it happen, I guess. And I don't know what to do.
Yeah, I actually had some ideas for some e-commerce things too with like perfumes and stuff like that, or like, just different scents, different kind of fragrances, niche fragrances. But what I really like about this is like, the with the top 10 businesses that Leo talks about is that they're all like proven and there's like all the information's already out there. So personally, like before I go and start other, other dreams that I have of other businesses, I'm kind of just like looking to learn as much as I can here through building the blueprint, through things that have already been done, kind of, and just really getting into that like mindset of, just being the boss, and then, bringing and creating a team of people to help you carry out the vision. And that's like the main reason why I joined this group and, follow Leo stuff in particular, because there's a lot of bullshit advice out there. And so I would just say, um, maybe to start working on a blueprint for like a construction company first, and then, you know, just kind of like, take what you learn from that and maybe apply it to the other thing, or just go with the construction company first because it's profitable.
How many videos have you guys posted so far? Jonathan, how many?
Okay. I think I posted 6. Not a
Six,
lot.
okay. Okay. All right.
First week.
All right. Who would like to introduce themselves next?
I'll
Mr.
go.
Okay.
My name's Arturo. Painting contractor. I'm 24. Just recently turned 24. Yeah, we do commercial painting, trying to break into residential, just to get more control over scheduling and actually having like a brand and having more of a, I guess maybe like building a business that maybe you could sell sometime in the future. But it's definitely harder than I thought. Definitely a lot harder building a brand. Even if it's like something like painting. Painting is a very, very kind of competitive, and from what I can see from where I kind of being in the industry now 2 years, about to be 2 years, it's construction and and also just kind of painting. It's takes a lot of legwork to get um I guess be like decommoditized in a way. So I think it's important, but it's also very hard. But
Okay. Arturo, you're gonna like the first case study we're gonna talk about. Who else wants to introduce themselves? Brian, go ahead.
Yeah, Brian Kaufman, here in Oregon, just like Nick. Uh, my own business for 18 years. Actually, I was on a job site today that I worked on 18 years ago. And so just to do a touch up with that, and they couldn't believe it. And they were like, wow, you were here 18 years ago. And I remembered this shower. So the videos this past week have not been very productive. I went to go put them out, and I was just like, I don't even like it. I was like, I wouldn't even watch this. So I was just like, I didn't even.
Sorry, Brian. Hold on. And I know that's the problem. And I know most of the people are stuck there, right? That's not important.
Yes.
Right? That's not important. That's not what
Yes.
we're trying to do. We're not trying to entertain people at this point. At this
Yep.
point, you guys should be creating a base. So when you come back 5 years from today, when you've made $10 million and you're trying to convince other people to join your team, and you're trying to
Mhm.
create a marketing and sales department, you go back and say, see, let me show you my first video. Let me show you how
Gotcha.
crappy it was.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what you're trying to do. You're
Okay.
trying to set up such a low bar that anything else you do above that is on the
Okay.
positive note. Okay.
All
I
right.
want you guys to produce crap and post it.
Okay.
And if you doubt my word, watch some of the videos that I posted, and I'm doing a duet and my microphone is off, but I posted it anyways for this reason.
Okay.
My videos are not perfect. They're not supposed to be perfect. I want
Yep.
people to realize that I'm a human being and I make a lot of mistakes. Okay.
Yep. Okay.
Stop overthinking. And I think this is why there's 40 people in this group. People don't show up because they're so terrified about public speaking or posting videos, and they're looking for perfection. I don't care about perfection. You're
Sure.
not ready for perfection. Okay, just
No.
post the crap. Just post everything.
Okay.
Okay, please.
Okay. Gotcha. Okay.
Sorry for raising my voice.
No, no. But sometimes we need to hear that and just
Yeah.
that way too. So
Okay, who's next?
Yes.
Gary, you there? Maybe he's not there. Okay, anybody else want to introduce themselves? Okay.
I'll go ahead. Ethan here in Florida, 23 years old. Haven't started any businesses or anything yet, but still really liking the idea of a raw dog food business. And still the biggest thing holding me back probably is just really getting started. And I've been pretty excited to want to get started on it, but I feel like I'm not doing enough, even though I'm doing, research, whatnot. I'm just really eager to get it going, I guess, and I just still don't really know exactly where to start with it.
Okay. All right. Let me quickly answer that. What is the threshold? What is it when you say, okay, I'm ready to launch my business? What has to happen between now and then? What is that threshold? What is that bar?
Probably just feeling like I still have no idea what I'm doing, honestly, and I don't want to just put it out there and waste my own time. And I'm not afraid of failure because I believe that's the only way you grow, but I just don't want it to be, a big waste if I don't feel like I know enough, and I know I can't sit on that forever and keep saying, oh, I don't know enough, I'm not ready yet, blah 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 blah. But I just feel like I'm still very ill experienced to get it going right at this moment.
May I change what you just said a little bit?
Of course.
You can learn from failure as long as it's somebody else's failure. It doesn't have to be your failure.
Right.
You don't have to lose your life savings for you to learn from failure.
100% agree.
You can learn from failure, learn from somebody else's failure, because you can learn more from failure than you can from success. You'll get, people will wake up when someone goes bankrupt because that hurts, right? But you can learn almost as much from somebody else's failure than you can from your own failure, because your own failure is gonna deflate your ego. Trust me. Okay. It's going to deflate your ego. It's going to deflate your bank account. It's going to ruin morale. It's going to, set you back 5 or 10 years.
Right.
Most people don't recover for at least 10 years. So don't embrace, I don't like the people that say, fail fast. No. If you've ever failed, it's heart-wrenching. It's incredibly painful. Okay. My first divorce, I lived in my car for a week because I could not accept the failure that my marriage was over. It's incredibly painful. Okay. So, yes, but learn from other people's failures. when you hear that someone went bankrupt, and this is why we manage a group of 337,000 business owners, so you can find out who just went bankrupt and fly in and have lunch with them. Okay? Because you can
Gotcha.
learn a lot from them.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so sorry about that. Anyone else? Introductions? Is that it? One of the first case studies I want to talk about is actually a really nice case study that kind of proves my point, and I like being right. This is a candy business, and I recorded this conversation. The gentleman was supposed to be here. He's a young guy. He runs a candy factory. He produces candy. What is it called? Freeze-dried
Willy
candy.
Wonka. Oh.
Well, it's a
I'm just kidding.
freeze-dried company. He started it 2 or 3 years ago. He's doing extremely well. And he can't keep up with production. And he can only post a video once every 2 weeks, or else he runs out of inventory and starts pissing people off. Okay? Do you understand what I'm trying to say here is? Okay? He can only post a video once every 2 weeks, or else he runs out of stock, and he's running 2 shifts already.
That's awesome.
Okay? So think about this. When I say influence is the new currency, and he's no better looking than half the guys in here. Okay, he is a good looking guy, but he's a young guy. He's not overly articulate, doesn't have a degree. It's just a simple guy that is not afraid to get in front of a camera and just post stuff. Okay. He's doing, I think, $2.5 to $3 million. Right? He posts once every 2 weeks. He would love to post more, but we're working together to try and increase his production rate. Okay. To put on a 3rd shift to get more production out. So and he runs a marketing company. Since then, he started a marketing company because he loves being in front of a camera. He wants to help other businesses. And his other business does more than the candy business. So imagine that you launch a business, you get comfortable in front of a camera, you grow to 800,000 followers on TikTok, 800,000 followers, and that's enough to dry up your production for 2 weeks with 2 shifts. Okay? That's enough to produce $2.5 million. That's enough for you to hire your parents to look after production. That's enough for you to, he doesn't do very much, right? I invited him to come out, and hopefully he will join us on the next event, because it's hearing from people like that. You say, yeah, if he can do it, why can't I do this shit? Brian, I'm talking to you. Okay. His videos, yes, he does edit videos, right? But he has 2 weeks to edit a video. Okay.
Yes.
So don't overthink this. You are just, you're trying to push momentum on your train, right? When that train gets moving, you got a business like he does. And he's trying to sell the business. I told him, he is a true entrepreneur. He wants to get into business flipping, right? So, I mean, or I'll get his permission to post the video that him and I recorded, and I think it's a real inspiration. And he's tired of the candy business after what, 2 or 3 years. Right? He's tired of the candy business. And that's a true entrepreneur who says, no, I can do better than this. How can I get rid of this? Right? And how can I start other businesses? That's what a true entrepreneur does. A true entrepreneur starts a business, then goes to his team and say, okay, do it. I empower you to do this. Take me from 1 million to 3 million. That's what an entrepreneur does. Okay. And it's just a simple candy business. And now we were talking about, how healthy is sugar, by the way? Can anybody help me
Not
with
at
that?
all. Zero.
Not at all healthy at all. No, I cut it out of my life. So
Right. And he's making $2.5 million in revenue from selling. And I told him, you're selling ice to Eskimos. Okay. And if you diversify a little bit, maybe diversify into healthier products, let's take your 800,000 followers and start creating other businesses. And he loves that idea, right? You guys are trying to start one business. We're probably going to start 4 or 5 businesses for him because he has the clout, the credibility, and the audience to promote all 4 or 5 businesses. Okay.
Yeah.
That's what influence is. The new currency is what I'm talking about. That's a great example. Okay. So, so one of the challenges that he has, and the other thing that he mentioned was his morale is around 70%. 70%, which means there's 25 to 30% of unused capacity, because morale and capacity, or morale and productivity, are almost hand to hand, right? So he's not even getting enough of his people. So if we can get another 25% out of his people by motivating them and using culture, and that's why one of the topics today was going to be culture. How do you build a culture? How do you build productivity? How do you build a business blueprint where people come from other cities and say, Leo, I want to be part of that. Or Nick, I want to be part of that, right?
Mhm.
And I want, I'm willing to move my family because of the opportunity you're creating for them, right? And let's look at McDonald's for an example. How does McDonald's, Burger King, KFC, and I use KFC as an example because after 40 years they had to change their name because they don't want to have fried in their name because they're sensitive, right? Because people are health conscious these days. And I said, you don't want to be part of that problem because you're in Niagara Falls on a nice canoe, but you're heading towards the falls, and there's going to be a huge dip. Okay. And that dip is going to be when people realize, hey, why am I feeding my kids this crap? Right? Why are we creating this obesity epidemic in the US and Canada? Right? So at some point, you're going to realize, hey, you need to get out of this business. And now's the time to start diversifying, or take the wrong audience and turn that into the right audience by designing profitable businesses. Okay. So I think this is a great case study that kind of emphasizes all the points that I've been trying to make for a long time. And so put yourself in his shoes. Okay. You're doing $2.5 million. You've got sugar, and they're tart candies. Okay. And when I watch his video, I can feel, because he's that good, right? I can feel the tartness in my mouth, and my mouth starts
Is it
watering.
the Skittles? Is it the Skittles? I've had those. Is it the
He freeze
all of
dried
them?
Skittles.
Yeah. Other things too?
Yeah. Yeah.
The Skittles are so good. I love those. My sister gets them sometimes.
Okay. But when you can use people's senses like that, when my mouth waters by watching his videos, okay, you're getting the message across. And that's how he got to 800,000
Yeah,
followers.
I have a question. Do you think
Please.
part of his morale being off is like because he knows he could be making so much more money and the production isn't there? Because that's what I would be feeling.
Yeah, and
I'd
the
be
other
like,
thing
damn.
is, he's 22 years old, right? Imagine someone who's 40 or 50 years old working for a 22-year-old. How would you feel? Right?
Yeah.
So, and I think that's part of the reason why he put his dad in charge of production. But they know dad's just an employee. The real owner is this 22-year-old. So there's a lot of envy. So you got to deal with this envy. You got to put the envy on the table and deal with it. Okay. So productivity is a problem. Morale is a problem. They don't have enough space, and they're only working 2 shifts. And he doesn't know how to attract people for a 3rd shift. And he's already talking about, getting into a larger facility. I wouldn't do that. I would create the 3rd shift before getting into a larger facility. And I would, and what I told him was, you're missing the most important element. You're doing really well without the most important element. What's the most important element in business?
Trust.
Yeah.
Trust.
Yep. Yep.
Is it the culture that you're talking about to attract people?
Trust and relationships.
Yes. Yes.
Vision.
Vision. Yes. Yes. But specifically to this case. Specifically to this case. All those are very true, but less relevant in this case. He has,
Using the machines he has.
yeah. Well, he's
Yeah, but he
already
doesn't
at
have-
2nd shift, right? When he's at 3rd shift, he's at 100% capacity, right? I mean, he could work on weekends. He could develop a weekend shift as well, or a 3-day, 4-day shift that because what we've done in a couple of companies is they either work 3 or 4 days, especially in the summer. They can screw off to the cottage, and every weekend's a long weekend, right? So that's a huge incentive for some people, right? But think about this. What's his problem? How do you turn his shortcoming into an advantage? Because that's what business owners do, right? They take a shortcoming, they take a problem and turn it into an advantage. What's the advantage here?
No idea.
No?
No.
Scarcity. How can you use scarcity as an advantage? Or limited runs.
Yeah.
Right? Businesses grow by creating scarcity, either real or artificial. Scarcity, when you look at Trump created these running shoes for what? For $2,500? There was a limited run. How fast did they sell out? Bang, they're gone. 2,500 or 2,700 running shoes? Come on. Because they had Trump's name on it? Okay, scarcity is a huge marketing ploy. All right. So either you raise prices to control supply, or you create scarcity where you say, okay, we're going to have a run of 10,000 bags. The next 10,000 orders, get it. The rest of the people, you're shit out of luck, right? So you use scarcity to create a huge demand for your business.
So you say he should just raise his prices in this case because he already has natural scarcity.
Yeah.
So just raise his prices.
Yeah. Yeah. And because he's going to solve his problem pretty quickly by putting on a 3rd shift, we're going to solve that scarcity problem temporarily until he moves to a larger facility. But I don't think his heart's in it. I don't think he really wants to move into a larger facility. I think he wants out, right? And he was 22 years old. All this success came to him. And he's had 2 other failures, by the way. So I think this is an interesting subject, and I think we should revisit this. If I can get his permission to show you his video, I think we should have a deeper conversation about this, because I think we can learn a lot from this. Okay. The other case study that I want to talk about, and we were supposed to have the presenter here talking about custom homes. WildGorgeousHome.com. I'm going to share my screen. This is what we call a business in a box. This is WildGorgeousHome.com. again, with our unique branding. This website was created about 12 years ago. So this is what we call a business in the box. We predict future need, and we have these websites aging. We have about 10,000 of these websites aging, waiting for someone to come along and say, hey, I need a website. So when someone comes along, the website has been aging for 10 or 12 years. And when they start making, changing SEO or doing anything, it ranks a lot faster because it already has 10 or 12 years of credibility. Okay. And that's why we sell businesses in the box. So what we're going to do, and the other case study that I'm going to quickly talk about is, and I might have mentioned this to some of you guys already, so forgive me, I'll do it very quickly. I was analyzing a company that was producing custom homes, and they've been around for a long time. And I was interviewing all the employees. I was trying to help them, take their business to the next level. And management is old and crusty. And I was interviewing this young Black lady, and she clearly did not look happy. Everyone else, seemed jovial and seemed happy, or put on a brave face, pretended to be happy. And she clearly was not happy. So I said, after the interview, I said, you don't sound overly enthusiastic about this company. And she said, well, Leo, I've got 4 kids, 4 young kids. And, they get sick. Every once in a while, I have to go pick them up. They get sick, and I have to take them to home. And, management really gets pissed off at me because they want me here in the office. It doesn't matter what I produce. It doesn't matter how happy my clients are with me as a project manager. They just want me here, right? And I said, well, if you're not happy, you're really not helping them, and you're certainly not helping yourself. Why don't you, start your own business, a custom home business? And, she says, well, Leo, I've only been here for 8 months. I've only been a project manager for 8 months. I have no testimonials. I have no money, and I have, nothing working for me. And I said, well, let's see if we can help you. And we started creating a brand for custom home. And that's what we call overqualification. When you overqualify yourself, right? And I said, go out and start learning your builder's license. You need to get your builder's license if we're going to, market you as a custom builder. And I said, it's going to be 2 or 3 years at least before you get a custom home. In the meantime, you can do kitchen renovations, bathroom renovations, and stuff like that, right? And within 6 months, she got and I give her a lot of credit because she did the sales, okay? She had the credibility. And while all this is happening, her house burned down to the ground, okay? And as of today, insurance still hasn't paid her because, the house she was not home. Electrical, I don't know what it was, but, everything's suspicious. But doing some research on the internet, according to insurance companies, everything's suspicious, right? So, so anyways, within 6 months, her first project she closed was a $450,000 addition. Second project, a $550,000 addition. Third project, $1.2 million custom home. Fourth project, an 80-unit multifamily building that she's still working on, okay? So when I talk about branding and differentiation to create an unfair advantage, I'm talking about, a real unfair advantage, okay? And, I give her a lot of credit for closing these projects because she's, in her early 30s with 4 young kids. So, so branding and differentiation. Now index sites, we're running out of time. Next time we're going to talk about index sites, or if you want to know what index sites are, go to my TikTok profile and search for index sites. You may have to go back a month or 2 and watch some of those videos where I talk about index sites. An index site basically is what we learned by working with a moving company who said, Leo, I want to grow my moving company. And I asked a stupid question. How do you want to grow your moving company? Do you want to, buy more trucks, hire more people, and do more physical moves? Or do you want to control the sale and make money from your competitors, or make money from all the moving companies, or most of the moving companies around North America? You go, well, how do we do that? That's called an index site. An index site is when you have 1,000 landing pages and each one working under the same brand. Okay, so we're going to talk about that next time. Any quick questions today,
Yeah, I got a question.
please?
You said you have 10,000 websites that you're hosting every month that are just
Well,
being aged like wine.
not all of them are websites. A lot of them are just domain names.
Yeah.
So let me explain why that is. When I started my construction business, everybody, is supposed to take their profits and invest in real estate. And it's the dumbest thing I ever did. But I started flipping houses and so on. Then I started doing commercial properties, flipping commercial properties. Then I thought, okay, when Facebook's IPO came out at $1.2 billion or something, I thought, okay, digital real estate is where it's at. Okay. And that confirmed that we were on the right track. So to me, digital real estate is more profitable than brick and mortar real estate. Does that help?
Mhm. Yeah, I gotcha.
Okay. Any other quick questions? We'll see you on Wednesday. And please complete your homework. My calendar link is on my TikTok profile. If you need some help, I'm here to help you. Let's get you moving. Okay. Influence is the new currency. We'll see you next Wednesday.
Peace.
Thank you all.
Later,
Take care.
boys.